Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we are going to work on a little bit of yoga on a chair. So when we were talking, when we had like our interview and stuff, when we did like all those assessments, a few things popped out at me. You mentioned that you did want to try yoga.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned that you sit all day long by a computer, and you mentioned that you have osteoarthritis in both knees.
Right.
And typically when you are sitting for long periods of time, your knees get stiff, it's hard to get up and that kind of thing. So believe it or not, with osteoarthritis, you should really be moving your knees a lot. Keeping it in the same position for too long is going to only worsen the symptoms that you have. You're gonna feel stiff, you're gonna feel pain. So you really should be moving the joints. You should be exercising too, but we can work up to that because, you know, I know with the walking and stuff like that, it's a little harder with the COPD and all that kind of stuff. So I figured this is like something gentle that you can do. You could do it like in little breaks when you're doing your, when you're working, like, because you're sitting in a chair. So you can take a 5-minute break, move your knees, and then, you know, keep working again. But what it does is that there's this fluid that's in your kneecaps. It's called synovial fluid. Is too much information, but it's like it lubricates your knees. And the more you move it, the more that fluid kind of circulates in there and stuff like that. So you need to move your knees. You need to move your legs and your hips and all that stuff. So you just sitting around for long periods of time is no bueno.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play a really short little yoga routine that you can do in a chair. We're going to do it together. And then we'll talk about it.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up here. Share screen.
Well, I see you fine.
Oh, that's good. Hold on, I'm going to share this with you. Let's open up. Where is my, oh, my phone is ringing. Who is calling me? Sorry about that. Okay, let me make it bigger. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do it together, okay? Let me know if you can't hear it.
So far, so good.
When you first wake up in the morning, you might feel stiffness in the body, especially with arthritis. There tends to be a stiffness in the joints that particularly happens in the morning, or could happen at any time of the day, especially if you've been sitting still or not moving for long periods of time.
But I don't see you.
And get the synovial fluid.
That's okay, as long as you can see the video.
The joints and perhaps feel a little bit less stiff. So we're gonna move sequentially through the body and articulate all of the joints as a way to warm up, which you could use anytime you're going to do an activity that requires more mobility and movement, or just if you're feeling stiff and you feel like you need a little bit of movement. So starting with the feet, we're going to lift the toes up and wiggle them, and imagine that you're sort of playing the piano with your toes. And then from there, moving the ankles, rocking back and forth on the feet, taking the weight into the balls of the feet and then the heels. And then you can alternate, taking one forward and the other one back, like you're doing a little march with the feet. And this starts to lubricate the points of the feet and the toes and the ankles. If you're sitting in a chair, slide back so that you feel like you're supported by the back of the chair. And then you can lift one leg and lower it down. And you can even play with moving with the breath here, exhaling as you lift and inhaling as you lower. If you're feeling really adventurous, you might even try doing them both at the same time. And even try bending arms out to the sides as you do that. This requires a lot of leg strength and may take some practice and strength building to move toward. From here, lift the legs one at a time. So now we're moving up into the hips. And it doesn't matter how high your leg goes, just that you're getting a little bit of movement into the hip joints. We're going to come forward in the chair now to have a little bit more movement, and you can do a little circle with one side and go the other way. And then the other side. You could even try these at the same time if you're feeling really adventurous. And then go the other way. And then because we just did a lot of movement with the hips, we're going to do a little stretch of the hips. So slide to one side or turn to one side, take the leg back, and feel a little stretch in the hip flexors. This is really good for people who sit for long periods of time to get a little bit of a stretch here, because these muscles tend to be condensed and tight throughout the day. And then we'll go to the other side. Make sure that you're protecting your low back here by engaging the muscles of the core so that you don't have too much of a sway in the back as you're stretching the hips. We're going to start to articulate the spine with what's called a seated cat-cow. So we round the back and then arch. And this can be a small movement or a big one, whichever feels comfortable to you. And you can try to organize this movement so that the top and the bottom of the spine arrive at the end of the movement at the same time. This can also be coordinated with the breath, inhaling as you arch, exhaling as you round. And you might feel the natural tendency to let the hands slide along the legs. You could exaggerate that and make the movement bigger. Shoulder blades as you go, if that feels good. And then come back to center, roll the shoulders one way and the other way. You have muscles on the outside and the inside of the shoulder blades. So when you move the shoulders like this, you're giving yourself a little massage, the cheapest, easiest massage you could ever get, just by rolling the shoulders. And again, you can alternate one at a time, backward and forward. And you can even move the arms with it, like you're doing a little swing stroke. And go backward. And then take the arms out to the front. And now imagine that you're playing the piano with your fingers, a little bit more realistic than doing it with your toes. Spread the palms and then bring the fingertips toward each other. And it's fine if the fingertips don't touch, but just moving the hands open and closed starts to stretch the muscles in the hands and may even increase your mobility there. Rolling the wrists out, rolling in. Extend the arms out in front, and it's as though you're flexing and pointing with the hands. And again, whatever range is available to you here is fine. It's not important that the movement be large. And then you can alternate. Spread the fingers away from each other and together. Away and together. Away. And then just shake out the arms and lower them down. Lengthen the spine and turn the head to one side, back to center, and then to the other side and back to center. Make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall, that you're not slouching as you do this movement. And then take the ear toward the shoulder the other way, but not the shoulder toward the ear. So we're not doing this. We're letting the shoulders stay relaxed. Stretch alongside the neck. And if you feel comfortable, you can roll side to side very gently, very small movement here without going back. And then bring the head back to center. Take the arms up with a big inhale. As high as the arms go, whatever feels comfortable. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. If your arms come all the way up overhead, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. And lower them down. Sit up nice and tall. Take a little side stretch. You might want to hold onto your chair here. You can take your arm up overhead if that feels good to you. Feel a nice big juicy stretch on the side of the body. Come back to center. And then go the other way. Sit up nice and tall. Take a little stretch over to the side. And come back. Roll the shoulders again, shake out the whole body, and release.
It sure does, Rainbow King. Rocky,
Wait 1 second. I'm fixing it. Can you see me?
Uh-huh. I see you. Let me just,
yeah, well, I could pick up back again.
okay. So what did you think of that?
Good.
Yeah.
They weren't hard at all.
No, it's very simple. And I think what's most important to remember here is that you have to move your joints. And I think the more you don't, the worse you're going to feel.
Yeah.
And
Okay, go ahead.
and especially because you say you're sitting in the chair for long periods of time, you know, and when I asked you, you know, what your day was like, you're like, oh, I go for bathroom breaks, but it seems like you're sitting for long periods of time without moving.
Exactly.
You know, so even if, I mean, you saw how short this video was, it wasn't really long at all. So even if you like just did some of the things like for 5 minutes, just to stretch, just to move, just to, especially in your knees, because then at least when you go to stand up later, they've already moved a little bit. You already got it ready to walk, got it ready to move.
Can you send me that video so that I would have it so that I can use it as backup? Like if I forget, you know, what I need to do?
Yeah, no, I'll send it to you. And then also too, there's a lot of other ones just like it. I think you could just like search up like chair yoga for osteoarthritis.
Oh, okay.
So there's different ones too, but I'll send you this one because this one's a quick one, so it's like good to like do it quickly.
No, I like it. It wasn't hard.
Yeah.
I did it with her as she was doing it.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable.
Yeah. I just think too, it's like, you had mentioned that, you know, you wanted to be able to move around more and be more functional, and, you know, you felt limited by like, you know, the knees and all that kind of stuff. So this just, I think it's like a small baby step to get you to like maybe eventually walking around the block, you know, and then eventually like, you know, just doing bigger things. Obviously you can't do it right away, but I think it'll help, at least until you get the surgery. I think once you have the surgery, that'll alleviate a lot with the knees, but until then, you have to move them. That's like key.
Yeah. Well, I started to walk this summer. I did. And then it started to rain and whatnot. And I said, okay, today's raining, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I got so involved in my work that, you know, I just kept. And then when I finished, I was tired. So I said, you know, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow is that I haven't done it again. But I'm going to school. Yes.
Exactly. But at least this just gives you something to do in the middle of your day. You can do it several times while you're working, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Just keep the legs moving, the hips moving, so that, you know, it doesn't worsen. And it kind of, you know, it puts blood to the joints, and it'll help. It'll help. Everything I read said that it was really good to just always move the joints. The more you leave them in the same position, the harder it is to then get, you know, stand or whatever. Exactly. Lots of that. Yeah. As much as you can, just to move them.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah. Look at you. You actually bedded them a lot more, better than I thought you would.
I could.
There's more flexibility in you than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's other kinds of yoga that we can do too. I mean, there's stuff that we can, you know, if you like this, we can get into like, you know, different stuff. There's more like stuff you can do, like sitting on the floor and stretching the legs a little more and stuff like that. But at least it's a good start.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Ready?
Yes.
All right. So I will talk to you later. Thank you.
Okay. Anytime.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank
Right
you.
up. All right, baby. Bye. Say bye.
Bye, Augie.
You see him?
Yep.
Está viendo televisión. Okay, mamá. Okay, bye.